Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the Gnome Train.
Woo! Chugga, 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 woo!
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
I'm Frazley, and I am joined by the man with the beard and the golden voice, Epicinsanity of Frozen Nerd.
Hi.
And the warlock who has my heart and soul, Lady Emma.
Hola. I had cookies.
You had cookies?
I had cookies.
Well, I think it's a thing that to eat while we're at a table. Because Epicinsanity, what time is it?
I think it's like 9:03.
Oh, okay, it's 9:03. Nice.
It's the same joke I use every time I'm here. But
And now I will play your alternative timeline person.
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently?
Just playing lots and lots of World of Warcraft. Like,
Nice.
content patch. I know it's been like a month and a half, maybe 2 months now. I don't even remember when it came out. It's still full-fledged, like diving deep into it. Still doing my raid team does heroic progression rating. We are slowly working on Azeroth, so we're almost
Nice.
done already, which is crazy because we're like way ahead of what we normally are. Like normally right now we'd be like 6 of 12 and we're already 11 of 12, so it feels really good. Having a lot of fun with the horrific visions. I'm farming that on 2 tunes right now. Just having a good time. I'm one of those, I'm going to say something that's very offensive. I am playing alts in World of Warcraft and I am gearing them. I am tanking on 2 characters. I'm not crying for account-wide essences.
What? Are you feeling okay? I need to check your forehead. Do you have a fever?
Actually, I do have a fever. How did you know? And
I had a cat.
and then just mentally preparing for vacation. I have a vacation to Florida planned.
Ooh.
Our first 13 days of April, I will be in Florida on the beach, just doing some deep sea fishing.
So you're not going to do Disney World?
No, we don't.
not gonna
We go
do the new
to a
Star
different part of
Wars
Florida.
stuff?
We go just beachside, Gulf of Mexico. We've done Disney way too many times. I would love to go just for the Star Wars stuff, but it's a 6-hour drive from where we go. I don't know if it's worth the like $200 ticket to get to the $200 lightsaber that I want.
Yeah, and I've heard Rise of Resistance is hard to get into. You wouldn't be able to do one of the coolest rides there.
Yeah, like even in California when we were there for BlizzCon, I had a couple friends that might have been able to get me some comp passes to go into Disney for free, and I was kind of excited about that. Then I would have bought a lightsaber just to justify the cost, but it's one of those things where it's a $100 ticket plus a $200 lightsaber. That's like a $300 like 4-hour adventure, and I'm just like, I could buy cool electronics with that money. So it's just like,
Well, and even tell me that you're kind of eyeing something. It's not something visual, but you're eyeing a new purchase.
yes, I am looking at getting a new microphone or another microphone, and I'm looking at upgrading my computer, my gaming rig, here in the next couple months. So
Nice.
I'm trying not to spend money. I'm like trying to justify if I purchase the microphone, how much money I can make with it,
Yeah.
and then go from there. I've been trying to justify that for like a year, and now I'm finally to the point where I'm like, okay, I have a spot for it. I have the setup for it now. It would work perfect. I just have to decide.
Now, I don't want to convince you of something, and they're not a sponsor, but have you heard of affirm.com?
I have not, no.
They are a site that I used to, a while back to buy a Casper mattress, and they're also not a sponsor, but I love my Casper mattress. But I used affirm.com to make a big purchase recently. You can pretty much tell them how much you need. They'll pre-qualify you, and then you just make payment plan.
And we're talking that pre-show like a little bit too. Like if I can pay for something over like 3 months, 6 months, the price tag doesn't bother me as much. It's just literally when you look at like, you know, like a BlizzCon trip, when you look at the cost of an airfare and the cost of a hotel, and you're just like, if I could pay that over 6 months, like ahead of time, even if I paid 6 months in advance before I get there, I'd be fine with it. But when you see that price tag, you're just like, I don't know if I can justify that. It's the same thing like a store mount or loot boxes in Overwatch or a 6-month sub or the collector's edition of Shadowlands. You're like, can I pay it over 6 months? Like, I don't really want to pay it right now, all at the same time.
I was bad. As soon as it was announced, I just paid for it. Just didn't even bat an eye. Just like, do it. But then again, I've been cutting corners everywhere else because of that.
And I know what you mean. I'm cutting corners for the next 6 months in some areas. Yeah. Being an adult is hard sometimes. You're like, oh, I need that toy.
It's always one of those things where you're trying to justify. Like, I actually didn't even buy BFA until like 2 days before launch.
The way that they've been doing it, they're not giving any pre-order bonuses, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wasn't even actually sure if I had bought it. I had to like go and look to see if I had purchased it, and I'm like, oh, I should probably do that before it goes live. And it's the same thing with Shadowlands. Like, I thought I bought it when it came out, but I know I didn't because I don't have like the free level 120 boost. And I keep trying to figure out, I don't want to buy Shadowlands because I'm still sitting on my previous 2 expansions boosts.
Yeah, I have 3. And I don't even know what to do with them. And now with Heritage Armor, you really don't want to use them.
See, my problem is I have everything except for 3 classes at max level. I have 2 boosts and an extra one. Do I boost them or do I just level them? Like you said, Heritage Armor. But it's also just like, so I learn how to play the character. Should I level a mage from level 0 to 120? Or should I just
go to
boost?
PvP and that's how you learn to play your character.
Oh yeah,
that's fun. Does
that's what I do. It's so much more fun that way. Like I have guildies who like just dungeon grind from like 1 to max level, and I'm just like, I can't do that. Like I want to be out there just like frostbolt until 120.
It's interesting that you mentioned leveling though, because you can level what it might be at pet battles. And Lady Emma, you've been up to a lot of pet battles recently.
I have, and you can't level as easily with pet battles as you used to. They've changed that, which makes it really sad.
Phooey.
So what they've kind of done is for pet battles, they're kind of zoned for certain levels.
Okay.
I used to use Squirt Day to level my alts because you used to get a lot of XP with that. Well, now they changed it. If you're not from Draenor, that zone, you won't get it. But maybe they changed it because they've changed all the leveling so you can level. I'll try it again, but I'm pretty sure you can't anymore with pet battles. Anyways, yes, I've been doing a lot of pet battling. And somewhere on my computer, I have it written down somewhere. I was trying to figure out how many polished charms I need, and one of the little comments someone said, oh, you only need like 4,000 polished pet charms. And then I actually did the math, and I'm like, no, you need like 7,000 pet charms to get everything.
Yeah,
you're missing a couple thousand there.
Yeah.
So I've been collecting pet charms. Anytime I see it up, I go there. Sadly, I only have one toon that has the world quests unlocked because I'm too lazy to get the rep up to unlock it. I think that's stupid.
Yeah, I think if you have it on one character, all your alts should get world quests.
Exactly. And as long as your toon is leveled, max level, then yeah, I think the world quest should be there.
Yeah.
Not to, get them all friendly. I think it's minimum friendly with the faction. And then you have to have started the something or other. I looked into it. I'm like, too much. So I haven't been raiding lately because I have some stuff going on my own life stuff. Frazley knows all about it. It's all great and fun. Sarcastic. Anyways, so I finally raided this week. So I got to kill some bosses last week. Almost finished normal clear. Can't get the last boss quite yet, but we haven't really been trying because we're still getting everyone their cloaks up.
Yeah.
So we've been skipping the last boss of normal and then start running heroic. So our progression is we got all the bosses in normal except for the last one and 3 bosses in heroic. And we managed to do it all in one night.
Nice.
So our next raid night is Monday. And that's when we'll go on our actual progression to see how far we can go. So that's really nice.
Right.
Yeah, I am bored with all the dailies and stuff. I did get some mounts. I did hunt some mounts. But for me, I've actually been doing the pet battle dungeons.
Ooh, have you done Numbergon?
I have.
Nice.
Numbergon's easy. The one I'm having is the newest one, Blackrock Spire or Blackrock something. It's one of the
That Blackrock place.
Yeah. I know it's depth, isn't it? Anyways, it's one of those. Everything is fine until the second to last battle. And that one I find is Russian roulette, where you might get the hit you need and they might do the miss or something happens. I know I tried it 9 times before I finally succeeded. And that's not just resetting the whole dungeon. I think I resetted the dungeon 3 times because I ran out of pets to actually fight in the right combination. It's very frustrating. So I need to find a strat on her that actually works in one-hit KOs. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm getting all the little bonus things so I can buy all the pets and everything, because I have to have everything.
Yeah.
All the things.
You gotta have it all.
Gotta collect everything.
I need it.
Other than those few things, I haven't done much in World of Warcraft. I'm a social player, and I haven't really been socializing much, so I haven't really done anything. One of my raid members actually helped me get my cloak up to rank 8, because I go in there and I'm just like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Help.
And it's interesting too, depending on class and spec and gear level and like all this stuff just takes into ridiculous combination. I looked out that I main tanks, like all I play is tanks. And in the beginning it sucked because as a tank I couldn't kill anything. Then they changed it and they reduced all the health by the mobs by 25% for tank classes. And now I just roll through everything because I'm like just destroy. Like this week I just did, and I'm trying to do a five mass clear this week yet. But I did a 3 mass clear and I still had 2 orbs left to kill Thrall.
Nice.
And but like before that nerf, I couldn't even kill Thrall on my monk. Like just Thrall.
I had issue.
Like I couldn't kill just Thrall.
The first time doing it, I was did the Alliance one, and I was just trying to kill her. I think I ran out of insanity before I could kill her.
Yeah.
Because at the time I didn't have the orb, so I couldn't rebuff myself. I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, all right, how am I supposed to do this and upgrade my cloak so I can actually have more corrupted gear when I can't even kill the first boss?
Yeah.
And that's a struggle too. Like my monk's the same way. Like monk tanks don't do any damage at all. Like they're the lowest of the low when it comes to damage output. So the problem is I don't know how to play the other, like I don't know how to play the DPS spec, so I'm not gonna do that. And you're in there and you're like, how am I supposed to kill something if I don't do any damage? Like I have great gear, I just don't put out any damage.
Epic. You should have named yourself Epicinsanity, because then you would have never had your sanity meter run out.
Yeah, it's true. Like I just removed those 2 letters. Just epic.
Yeah, see?
I do keep the insanity thing going. My druid's name is Bear Insanity. It's like the Bear Necessities, but Bear Insanities. And then Brewmaster Monk is Brew Insanity.
Ooh.
You know what? I'll be honest, this whole expansion has not wowed me. My favorite ones, I loved Lich King. The story got me hooked, and it was also the first time I had a max level character. And I've been playing since Classic. I'm a slow level. And I liked Pandaria. I really liked Pandaria. That was
a good expansion.
I know a lot of people hate it because it's very cartoonish and all that, but I don't know. Everything about it I liked. Maybe it's the fact that I could move and cast at the same time. That was great.
That would help, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Pandaria was great because it actually, the story of it and everything of Pandaria was like, slow down, enjoy what's around you. And you were forced into like just actually doing that because the entire expansion was like, slow down, enjoy your time here. And you're like, oh, okay. Which, yeah, and I agree. I love the place.
That was the first expansion when I leveled my character and I didn't level with anyone, so I could actually take my time, read the storyline, and progress and actually retain what in the world is happening. Yeah. Like, I still want to know, have they fixed the Jade statue? Because I still haven't heard anything about that.
There's so many stories that, like, it's the same thing as, like, I think the reason a lot of people don't like BFA is Legion was so rich in story, and there was these beautiful endings, like, not necessarily beautiful. The scenery was beautiful. The stories were not necessarily beautiful. But Legion just had these rich stories, these awesome cinematics, these like the whole zone just had this rich story. And then like I play Horde, and I legitimately couldn't tell you the story of anything that's going on in BFA outside of like the N'Zoth story. Like I don't know why I was in Vol'dun playing with foxes. Like, I don't know why I played with blood trolls. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I didn't care for the story. I just like, and I think that's my struggle too with BFA is like Legion. I played the same zones over and over and over again to level alts because I love the story. Like, I was just like, even though I had done it 6 times, I still did it because I love the story. Now I'm like, oh, there's this event during Christmas that gives me 25 extra XP and I can farm this one PvP dungeon for like ever and level all my characters to 120 without actually having to quest. Oh, okay. I'm excited for Shadowlands to have story. Yeah. I'm also like, I go back to Wrath too, where the story was so rich in Wrath that I loved Wrath. And then Kata was kind of like, meh. But then Mop was so good again. Like, and then Legion was so good again.
I really liked Kata. Like I said, it was the first time actually having a max level, which was great. But going in the Ice Crown and you find this like little boy, and this little boy is making you go around places and telling you little things about the Lich King, and then you find out this little boy is the Lich King. And it's like creepy, and you're just following this little boy, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, there's some creepy stuff like that in the Stormwind horrific vision. There's 5 kids standing in a pentagram. They're all orphans, and they're all standing in a pentagram shape. Their foster orphanage person is laying there dead on the ground, and they're standing in a pentagram around her.
That reminds me, in one of the news zones, is Dust something, whatever, not Dust, starts with a D. Dustbar. That's it, Dustbar.
That's all I know.
There is a story where you meet this little girl, and she wants a couple of her favorite things and all that. And as you help her, you're actually making a ritual thing to bring up a dog, like an evil dog or something. I can't remember. But it was just kind of seemed innocent that you're trying to help a little girl, and then it ended up being really creepy in the end. I actually like that part.
There's also another spot too in the Stormwind. There's probably spots in Orgrimmar. I just haven't paid attention because it's Orgrimmar. But like, there's a small child standing there with like a cat pet that looks like it's a zombie kind of pet. Like, it's got like a purple glow on it. They're just sitting there awkwardly, like staring at each other. And you're just like, okay, I know this is like a vision, and I know that this is like a corrupt city right now, but there's some weird stuff going on. And I'm like, yeah, who at Blizzard made this dark stuff happening inside these little visions? And I guarantee you it's going on in Orgrimmar. I just don't pay attention.
I should see if the 2 cats, because right now in the cathedral area on the Alliance, there's these 2 cats that sit right beside each other. And I'm wondering if they're in the vision, and maybe that's one of your zombie cats.
It's just weird. Like, I'm just like legitimately, like, our first time in there, we're like doing it as a group. I'm like standing on where the dead orphanage person was, and I look around and I'm like, these kids are standing in a pentagon. Like, okay, Diablo up in Stormwind now too? Like, time to leave. Like, but I like dark stories, so I'm enjoying it.
I now have to pay attention to this because I've done the Stormwind, but I had a friend who just blitzed me through everything.
Yeah, it's like right in the main room, like so like right when you zone in, before you go down like the portals to like leave the major like cathedral area, it's like in a corner, and there's just all these little kids like standing there awkwardly.
Okay, I remember seeing the kids. I just didn't pay attention to them because
just look at what's laying on the ground and what's hanging out by them. So
I gotta bring up what Televar said in chat. Alliance get to help creepy zombie girl. Horde main quest, remember, helping dinos make the whoopee.
To fart? You're helping dinos to fart?
No, I think even more than that. But it's interesting that you bring up cats, because this past week, my cat Chocolate turned off my stream. So I made the mistake of putting my stream on and off button on my stream deck. He sits down on my stream deck. All of a sudden, the stream goes dead. I'm like, okay, I guess it was time for me to take the stream offline anyway. I'm like, oh, cat. So now I've learned never put your stream in button on your stream deck. It's a recipe for disaster. And you're talking about a mop. I'm taking my Mechanome up to 110 at least to get the heritage armor. And I think I might do the order haul over in Legion, because I never did that on my other character. But I am working on Kunlai Summit. I am about 3 storylines now away from finishing.
Nice.
But epic. With your sanity. And I think I need to do a creativity check-in to see how insane you're getting with all these visions.
Lots of visions.
So How are you doing right now, Epic?
I hope you have your master's in psychology because it's going to get crazy up in here.
I've taken a few courses. I'm not a psychologist, but by any means.
I do have a BS in psychology. I just don't have a master's. But I could hook you up with some great podcast therapists. I have a couple clients who are podcast therapists.
I might need a few of those, but that's besides the point.
They are good. They help me out a lot, actually, for free. It's even better.
Nice.
Oh. Okay, you might have to send some my way.
Yeah. They're real, too. Like, they're not the type that are like, oh, how did that make you feel? They're just like, stop being dumb. They're like, oh, okay, that works. Like this, I need it just cut raw. Like, I don't need to sugarcoat it. Like, I've been through that. I don't need that. I just need you to tell me how it is. But creativity wise, I am actually, and I've been thinking about this. So I'm glad I read the questions ahead of time so that I could prepare myself, yet I'm still not prepared. I've been mulling over this question all day. And I legitimately, I think this is like the first time in my life that I'm just like at a standstill of like, I have creativity, but I don't. Like, I do creative things. Like, I podcast also. But I'm like legitimately just sitting here going like, I'm good. Like, I'm just like, I don't know if it's like a creative block or if it's just creative drain or what. But I'm just like, I don't even know. Like, I used to always want a podcast. Like, every day I wanted a new podcast, like topic, genre, game, whatever. And now it might be because I deal with too many podcasts that I just don't care anymore. But like, I'm just like, literally, I've been sitting at this question, looking at it and just going, creativity check-in. This is going to be a rough one. I got no creativity. I lost it. I gone done, lost my marbles.
Would you say that it's like burnout?
I don't know if you can get burnt out from something if you're not really ever doing it besides like once a week. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know if like I just need to like find the passion again, or if like just need to take like a step back and look at it. Like we took a step back from Frozen Nerdz for like 2 weeks just to kind of like reevaluate what we're doing. Since we cover all Blizzard topics, it's really hard. Like, we actually have too much news to talk about every week. We have too much to talk about, and we're trying to do an hour show, but we could do a 3-hour show every week because we have too much to talk about. So we're always having to cut stuff, but then we're always talking about the same stuff because it's coming up like in a cycle of once a month. We're talking about the same stupid stuff, and we're just like, we need to stop that. Or I don't know if it's like a creative block or just a drain or a burnout, or that's why tonight I'm kind of like excited. Like, you go to BlizzCon and you get re-energized. And this is kind of like, okay, I get to just sit back and be a guest on a podcast. I don't got to push no fancy buttons. I don't got to like make the show notes. I got to add some notes, but I don't got to be like, I don't got to do anything. I just show up and talk. Like, that's kind of fun. Maybe I'll just be a traveling guest host on podcasts. That's all I do is just travel around.
Hey, it's a lot of fun doing that. That's what I do most of the time. I love being guests. I love to talk. I don't have to do the work.
Teach me your ways.
Just start telling people, I'll be a guest for free. I'll give you lock cookies.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, I've had people actually reach out to me and like want to pay me to guest host. And I'm like, what? Like, well, in the business world, that's a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of your business podcasts, like, those people are paying to have guests on their show. And I'm just like, this is a thing? Like, I can make dollar bills doing this? Sign me up.
Anybody listening, I do not pay FrazlCast guests. It's a passion of mine, and it's something I want to eventually make into a career, but I don't have the money to pay all of you. I mean,
he's saying this just to prevent the emails, because he knows the email.
I stole his soul, so he has to have me on as part of the contract.
Once a month? Yep.
Minimum once a month.
So, Epic, what would you say, and you can go far back, but I think I had you on maybe last year at some point. What has been a creative victory?
That's a tough one, too. Creative victories, like, it's hard because, like, once you've done it for so long, it just becomes, like, second nature. And I actually just had this conversation in my guild Discord the other day about WoW. So I'll kind of wrap this up in, like, a crazy, weird WoW story. I've been playing WoW since the beginning. like since vanilla, since classic, like the original. I've had a sub to World of Warcraft, never lapsed for longer than 15 seconds that entire duration. Like I've always been subbed. I haven't necessarily always played, but I've always been subbed. There was like a month that I took an entire month off of WoW. There's been times where I've taken like weeks off of WoW, but I've always just played WoW. I enjoy playing WoW because WoW is such a it's an MMO, so you're supposed to play with other people. I do so much stuff in WoW with other people. So I run M+, I raid, I PvP, I do all this stuff with people. I never do anything in WoW by myself besides world quests. So recently with like the Horrific Visions coming up, and it's a solo content that I can do that's a challenge, but also pushes me to my own gamer limit. It's kind of exciting. And I feel like I almost need like a Horrific Vision in real life to like kind of jumpstart me, to get me to stop looking at like basic everyday accomplishments, or like, oh, podcast achievement, we just hit 6 years for Frozen Nerdz. Like, oops, just another 6 years of doing the same thing. I just shrugged it off like it was just like another everyday occurrence. And it's like, no, for 6 years, we've been doing this thing for 6 years. Like,
yeah,
it's the same thing. Like, you gotta just kind of like not have it be this mauling everyday accomplishment. Like, as I'm looking at your show notes, episode 148, dude, you're almost to 150. Like, I think I might have been on like episode 98. Like, oh yeah, wow, like 150. And I'm looking at mine, like we're at like 288. Like, we're almost to 300. Like, holy cow, like what is this? It's like, it's that excitement and bringing it back. And a lot of it is like, I don't know if I need to like go play a different game for a while and just get like a creative refresher, or if I need to like stop playing games for a while and like listen to some audiobooks or read some books, or
maybe listen to other people's podcasts and see their point of view.
I used to listen to tons of WoW podcasts, tons of Blizzard podcasts all the time. Now when I'm done working, which is editing podcasts, I don't want to listen to podcasts.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to either. I mean, I edit my shows. There's an organization that I edit a podcast for. I don't know if I would want to do it all if I was doing it, because I mean, you work insane hours.
Yeah, oh yeah. Coming up like March 13th, I'll be losing 20 hours a week off of my workload just due to a breach of contract that the company is forcing upon themselves. And little do they know, as of March 1st, the contract is breached and I no longer have to work for them. So I'm giving them a 2-week notice to wrap everything up. But then as of the 14th of March, I will no longer work for them. So I will go, shockingly, from working 60-hour weeks to 40-hour weeks. Like, I'm not going to know what to do.
You'll have so much time.
For them alone, I edit over 20 episodes a week. Just for them.
Wow.
So do you think that would help bring your passion back if you're not doing that extra 20?
I think the free time, because there's like so much stuff we want to do with Frozen Nerdz, but anything you do with creativity, like with a podcast, if it's artwork, if it's a YouTube channel, if you're dabbling in a video editing, when you try to take it to the next level, it takes time. It's a time investment. We want to branch out and we want to do some different sound effects. I do voiceover work. I do audio editing. I can do pretty much anything with audio now that I've taught myself, music, all this stuff. But when you listen to our show, you don't hear any of that. You don't hear me and Kilroy voice acting characters and having fun and being stupid. You don't hear bumpers made by us. We don't have bumpers. Why? We have an ad roll that we put in there, but it's my voice, and it's just like I read a script that I wrote in 5 minutes and slapped it in the episode. Like just starting to use that creativity, having a gnome train sound and having bumpers and just having stuff like, even if it's not us, but just having ideas where I can go to, hey, can you do a gnome voice for me, Frazley? Like, that'd be awesome if you do this gnome voice to add to our podcast. It's those things. I would love to do like an audio drama. Like so many people are like, oh, crime podcast, audio dramas. I would love to do that. Once upon a time, there was a World of Warcraft audio drama, and I did some work for that, and it was fun, but I also know how much work goes into an audio drama, into a crime podcast. A crime podcast, if you're doing it by yourself, legitimately 16 hours a week to produce one episode.
Wow.
Like, that's just crazy talk.
I believe it. I mean, Azeroth Public Radio did an amazing job, and they're about to release episode 2, and I did hear, if you listen to a podcast, It might be a podcast called Girls Gone Wild, which if you listen to that one, you hear a teaser for Azeroth Public Radio episode 2. But I mean, I've seen how Coltrane says that takes forever. I mean,
yeah, I saw their tracks. I saw like 30 some tracks for a podcast, and I was just
too.
I'm like, oh boy, like I couldn't even fathom it. I'm organized, so I get where their tracks are coming from. Like that might only have one audio sound. Like the biggest track project I ever created, and this might be part of the issue, is it's so time consuming. But the biggest track project I created was the intro to the BlizzCon podcast that I made.
That was amazing. I loved that.
Yeah, but that intro took me like 8 hours to make, and it's 30 some seconds long, and it's legitimately like 30 some tracks of sound effects and voiceovers and all this stuff just all jumbled together, and I love it. But I can't invest 8 hours, even normal person, if I work normal people hours, to invest 8 hours in a 30-second bumper every week. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
I remember when we were trying to do a Kilrog's site, just getting the right wording. I think it probably took us about a month of us going back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
To figure out the right wording of what the person would say, who we get, what's the background music, do we both agree with this, do not, how do we make it better?
If people don't know, this show and the Frazzley Report both actually have quite a few tracks on it. This show in particular, I have the intro that Allie and Brandon T. Blaylock graciously made, and then I've got the guest section. Then after the guest section, I have my From the Community and my outro, and that's full bumpers. There's a lot of stuff that goes into FrazlCast, and it takes a bit of time, and I'm always afraid that when I edit, I'm like, did I accidentally move something around? Because that's I do spot check, make sure, because when you're editing multi-tracks like that, there's room for things to mess up.
Well, even with me recording Kilrog's site, like I have a month to actually, write something that's very, like, I have a very straightforward of what I'm going to say. And Frazley knows I will procrastinate until like the day before we have to record. And I'm like, shoot, I still have to write this. And it's just mad tight.
Frazley refuses to comment on the Fifth Amendment or Fifth. He doesn't want to incriminate himself. And Mr. Epicinsanity, Frazley, anytime you want, we'll do a gnome voice for you.
There's so many times where you want to get creative and you want to do like as much stuff as you possibly can. But it also like you have people wanting you to do stuff too. You know, like people want you to talk about a certain topic. People want you to talk about something specific. You can't make everybody happy, but at the end of the day, you have to make yourself happy. So when like referencing back to Blizzard having too much to talk about, like I can't sit down and talk about every aspect of every Blizzard game every week, or it's going to be a 3-hour podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Our Frozen Nerdz is structured to be a discussion podcast, not a news podcast. So we're not just going to sit there and read the teleprompter to you and then next, because that's not fun for us. Like, at the end of the day, it's got to be fun for the creators.
Oh, yeah.
And if the creators aren't enjoying what they're doing and they're trying to accommodate to the listeners, I'll use generic terms to describe this, but one not podcaster, but streamer who has gone MIA/AFK from streaming for like a month or two, they're a persona in the community to be acting a certain way. That takes a lot of energy to act a certain way. If that's not really your personality and you're acting a certain way to be on camera, like that burns you out too. Like if you're trying to be something you're not. And it's the same thing. Like my problem is we'll bring up esports. Esports is great. I love that esports is a thing. I love that kids can now wear a jersey for the Houston Outlaws and they can rep Team America and they can rep the Shanghai Dragons and they can do all this stuff and they can rep their favorite players from Hearthstone to World of Warcraft to everything. When I sit down and watch esports, I want it to be enjoyable. I don't want it to be work.
Yeah.
Where now I have to remember the scores so that I can telecast it later. You know, I want to enjoy my time. I don't even hardly ever watch streams anymore or esports anymore because it's all become part of a job. I love doing it, but I also would rather, instead of watching someone play World of Warcraft while I'm at work all day, I'd rather play World of Warcraft myself all day. You
Yeah.
know, same thing with like, you know, even Diablo. I have this itch for Diablo to play Diablo all the time. I can't. Like, I have other obligations, and I have friends that want to play World of Warcraft, or I have friends that want to play Overwatch. You know, like it's those obligations where you have to do stuff for you and not necessarily for everybody else. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not enjoying myself, there's a reason most podcasts in the world today make it to episode 8 and never make it any further. They burn out because they can't come up with anything else to talk about after 8 episodes.
When I started FrazlCast, I was doing a lot of news, and I had to find what's my niche. And I toned it down to WoW. We do discuss Overwatch and Diablo sometimes. I have not discussed StarCraft a lot because I am a fan of StarCraft. I don't play StarCraft. There are amazing shows for StarCraft, like the Pylon show. They are kicking butt with StarCraft. Alessandra's always excited for StarCraft, and I love that there's stuff going there. It's finding like what makes me passionate. One of the things that I found with this show that surprised me, one of my passions is actually talking with other creators and other people and other voices. We may talk about WoW, but I'm getting a story from you about creativity and about struggling with passion. And that's actually, to me, even more exciting than the WoW stuff.
You're in your head going, you know, I've been there before. Or, okay, how would I respond to that if it happened to me again? You know, like we look back and it's the same thing. Like every time we sit down to do a show, we go through all of this stuff that we've aggregated from all over the internet for the course of a week into a Discord channel that legitimately only we can see. And it pulls from RSS feeds, it pulls from webhooks, it does all this stuff. We just see this laundry list of stuff, and we have to go through and pick and choose. I'm on Reddit every day, like all day long. I'm on Reddit reading, you know, competitive StarCraft, casual StarCraft, StarCraft 2, StarCraft 1, StarCraft Ghosts. You know, I'm on all of Diablo's Reddits. I'm on all the Overwatch ones. It's legitimately, I'm sitting there going, refresh new, refresh new, refresh new. I just want to see what the new stuff is that people are talking about. If I had a 3-hour time gap, I would sit down and talk for 3 hours about it. But the catch is at the end of the day, no one wants to listen to me talk for 3 hours on the same topic. So it comes down to when we don't talk about World of Warcraft on the show, we get emails saying, you didn't talk about enough World of Warcraft. And then when we don't talk about other stuff, we get emails saying, you didn't talk about this, this, and this. It's like, well, what do you want me to talk about? But I don't want someone writing my show notes for me either, because I don't want to talk about something like, we'll skip stuff if we're both not confident about talking about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like so far this week, I haven't had time yet to see what the Hearthstone thing that rolled out this week was. I don't even know. Couldn't tell you. Diablo 4 had their update, their quarterly update. I still haven't had a chance to actually sit down and to read it. Why? It's Thursday. I still got time.
You talk about reading. I want to know, though, would you be okay watching Overwatch and Diablo stuff? Because you might have seen this go through your news feed.
Oh, I did. I already talked about it, too.
Okay, well, I want to talk about it here with you.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So, Games Radar says that Overwatch and Diablo animated series are reportedly in the works at Netflix. We've been hearing rumblings that Netflix is working on something. It sounds like one of them is going to be an anime series. And Alessandra brought an interesting article from Abacus. Chinese fans say that Blizzard found their true calling with Diablo anime. One of the quotes I pulled from it was basically that Blizzard has been a film company making games, and that they found their passion. And I can see it because Blizzard has done amazing animation, amazing art. The media outside of the game is amazing. They have books that are amazing.
I can't wait because I would definitely watch them because I love to learn about lore and more things about games. But you know what? I don't own Overwatch because I'm not a first-person shooter style game or any type of shooting game. I'm not good at it. And so I won't play it, so I won't know the story. But just the little videos I see of them and of the characters and all that, I want to know more about them. And it's the same thing with Diablo. I've tried to dabble in it a few times. One of my friends has played with me, and I just can't get into it. And I want to know more of the story. So if they have an actual anime series, I would definitely be all about it.
Like I've enjoyed the Overwatch cinematics. Those have been amazing. I've barely played Overwatch other than a little bit on the PS4 and a little bit on the PC. I don't dabble in Overwatch because I'm bad at FPS. I'm interested in seeing it, and I'm interested in seeing a story and something on Netflix, something that's Blizzard.
Is this only US or will it be available in Canada and other Netflix?
I would assume if they're going to do it, they're going to roll out worldwide.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Like, it would have to be, like, especially for Overwatch. Overwatch is too large of a demographic and too large of a market. If they cornered it even just North America alone, they would do themselves a massive disservice. Like, and I could actually see them going to the extreme of if Blizzard releases an Overwatch cartoon specifically, it's probably going to be that Pixar based. It would have to be. If you just 2-dimensionally draw me some cartoons of Overwatch, I'll just be like, I can see people make that for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, people are doing it. Like, and I'm not dissing people on YouTube. I want a full-fledged, detailed 8-episode, or more thing. For Overwatch, I would love to see it just because the storyline is so rich. And a lot of that stuff, you're honestly, from not playing the game, you're not getting much of that story in the game because the story is not really built for in the game. It's built for out of the game.
I'm hoping that the next Overwatch with their PvE story mode, I'm hoping it's more than just, oh, you go into this and here's the story of what you're doing. I hope we see some in-game story.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with Diablo. Diablo, I'm not a fan of anime at all. And I'll say that till the day I die. It's just, I'm not a cartoon person in general. I'm not really even a big comic book person. I'm 50-50 on that. It depends on what style it's drawn in. And that's the other thing too, is with anime, there's 80,000 different versions of anime art style.
Oh no. I am just imagining Deckard Cain with like hentai tentacles coming out of him.
Well, like I look at it so that Blizzard released like an Overwatch kind of anime style artwork for like a Doomfist release or something. This is how much it impacted my life. I don't remember what hero it was for, because I just was like, oh, this art style is not my style. But that's the thing that's cool about art. Everybody has an opinion and is allowed to have an opinion. And
yeah,
would I still sit down and watch 8 episodes of anime Diablo on Netflix? You bet your buddy. I would be watching it straight through, binge watch it in one Friday. Like, just give it to me. Like, just because I support Blizzard, I support Diablo, and I want to know more about what they're doing with this story. The same thing, like, I'm not a fan of the Overwatch PvE content at all. I want to play a first-person shooter because I want to shoot people in the face. That's what I enjoy from the game. But I get where other people like the story and want to know more about the heroes. But I'm not a lore person. I'm not playing Overwatch for the lore. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I play almost Overwatch probably about 2 hours a day, every day.
I am now imagining a Gin and Fear or an Alley. I'm name dropping because I love Gin and Fear, really great podcast, and I love Alley Dungeon Fables. I'm wondering if there's a podcast of like, this is like the map fables, like someone who does the map lore of the different areas, and someone who's going like, let's go from the beginning of Overwatch. Is Overwatch good or bad? I've not followed Overwatch podcast. It'd be cool if there was that.
That would be neat, because I am definitely a lore person. For like example, I've been on the podcast. I don't think it's going anymore, but World of Warcraft Well Read, yes. And they based off of World of Warcraft books each time, and I did Rise of the Horde with them, and there's a lot of lore in there that I didn't even know happened. So when Draenor happened, and it's like a revamp of a twisted version of Rise of the Horde, I knew everything that was going on, and I could tell my best friend, it's like, well, this is what happened. This is what happened in this one, and this is why everything's going like this. And I actually knew what was going on, and it was really exciting for me. You know, you can talk for hours about all the little things. What I've been doing lately, even in World of Warcraft, is if I find a character with some sort of name, I'm now Googling them to see if there's any backstory. Because there is like a couple in Stormwind. There's still no information I can find about them online. I can't remember what their name was, but it was just like, it bugged me. It's the same thing with the 2 cats that sit there together. I'm like, as though someone's pets? Or is this a married couple that passed away and they created them as cats in the game? You know, to me, it's like the little hidden gem lore. So I will be definitely watching this.
WoW needs like a X-ray feature. When you're watching Prime videos, there's an X-ray feature where you can both look at who the actor and actresses are. And also, you can look at what the characters are. It would be cool if there was an add-on that you could hover over a character or an item or a zone, and it would tell you all this stuff. I know there's the adventure guide that I don't always read because of its small text. I need to look at changing that font. Renata sent me a guide. I need to read that guide because I bet it explains how to change that stuff.
But the problem with WoW and the problem with other games is the story changes too frequently.
True.
Like, I always look back at like those mobs, those classic NPCs out there in vanilla World of Warcraft content right now. If you go to outside of Thunder Bluff and you're questing, they're saying the same stuff they've been saying for 15 years. They're living in a time capsule. They don't even realize that the Lich King has come back. He's fallen. They don't even realize that like maybe some of them were affected by Kata with Deathwing coming in. So like that's the problem, is all this story has changed around them, but they're still just like, job's done. Job's done.
Every once in a while, they do change it up, though.
Yeah.
Because I have seen it where they've revamped an old character because, yeah, the story has changed. It just varies if they have the time to do it or not. And I think that was the whole point of Cataclysm, was to get everything up to speed. But then you get people who haven't played the game and they want the original story. And I think that's where Classic is really good for if you haven't done all this stuff and you want to hear the original story, go with Classic and then go into the whole Cataclysm and see what has changed.
Yeah. I wanted to move from this topic to one final topic before we get to the trivia. And I got a surprise for you, but I'll save that. You mentioned Epic being awesome in a sometimes not awesome world. And I actually was intrigued by this. We all have an impact on others. Right now in chat, people are talking about how we've affected them in different ways. And thank you, chat. That means a lot. We have a platform. You got Frozen Nerdz. I've got FrazlCast. Emma's got FrazlCast and Twitter, and
she's part of the show. She's just...
yeah, she's part of the show's DNA, the soul. And each content creator, we are living in a toxic world sometimes, and that's why I try to be happy. I try to be positive on this. I try to be objective. But what can content creators do in this time to be lights in a toxic world? And this extends past the games we play. I'm not talking about like just being like defending Blizzard, but how can we be a light in this world? It is so dark.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's tough. And not even as a content creator, but just as a person in the world, it's tough to be that light. And I don't want to go like religion ways or anything like that. Cause like, yeah, really at the end of the day, we're all people and we're people. Like we're human beings first before anything else. And like when you're surrounded by so much toxicity and you're just like completely overwhelmed with it, it's hard not to just lash out at people when they question why you're happy about something. I'm happy about the current content of World of Warcraft and I'm playing it and I want to talk about it all the time, but I'm not happy with the current state of other Blizzard games. But I'm not going to sit there and talk negatively and drive them into the ground because they're still great games. I just currently right now, they don't have content to grab my mind. The game that comes to mind is Hearthstone. Hearthstone for me is a game that I don't have the time investment into. And it's by choice. I don't take the time to invest in it. How can I, a Blizzard Entertainment podcaster, talk about Hearthstone without being negative about Hearthstone every time I talk about it? And it's hard. One of the phrases we've coined over the many years of doing it is like, hated it. You know, we say that when there's something we're not enjoying. And but if there's things in WoW that I hate too, there's things in Overwatch I hate too. Sometimes it's okay to have an opinion, but what you need to learn is that other people are also allowed to have an opinion. And sometimes to be a shining light or to be a light at all for anything is just keeping your mouth shut. As weird as that sounds, is sometimes you just have to let people have their platform to rage about what they want to rage about and just go, that's cool, bro. You can have that opinion. We can still be bros and we can still do stuff together. Like there's no separation. It's like I always bring up the Horde and Alliance. Like at the end of the day, does it really matter? No.
Yeah,
like,
no, it does not.
I'm legitimately, I've played both sides. There's no difference. It's all the same people. There's no separation, but it's to be overly aggressive on one side or the other just adds to the toxicity. And if you want to be a place where there's not toxicity, you have to challenge yourself, not people. You need to challenge yourself to be a better person. And it's to be, like you said, be happy on your podcast because it's your podcast. Be happy. People want to hear you be happy and talk about something. I'm passionate about min-maxing in World of Warcraft.
Oh.
And people don't want to hear me talk about it, but I'd love to min-max everything. Like if I could I'm legitimately before the show, what was I doing? Working on weak auras, customizing my weak auras, rebuilding my UI so it's perfect for the next raid night. Because something was out of place this week and it was bugging me the whole raid night, but I couldn't fix it. So now I fixed it. Now we're good for Tuesday. That's my passion. But nobody wants me to make a 3-hour podcast about talking about how to create weak auras. Like some people might want to know a little bit just because they're interested, but not 3 hours worth. Like, did you sign up for the short, too long didn't read version, or did you want the TED Talk?
Maybe have both versions because there's going to be people.
Yeah.
Because I know a couple of my raid members, they work on weak auras, and maybe there's a cheat sheet of shortcuts that they didn't know about that you do, and you can help them by saying, hey, you can do the long way with this or do this, and then the shorter version is you give them the shortcuts.
Yeah, and I mean, Grand Nagus is an amazing example of somebody who has delved so head first into add-ons. It's helpful because be like, hey, try this out. I'm like, oh, that is a really good add-on. And Epic, I want to see next time I'm on YouTube, I want to see you come up and have your face be like, hey, I'm Epicinsanity, and here's my masterclass on weak ores. I want to see that.
This thing is too, is like, I would love to share people that video, but where did I get this knowledge? From somebody else's video that I watched that's 5 years old.
So you can
it's like,
credit it saying, hey, I got this information from this person.
Yeah, but it gets to a point where it's like, okay, do we just keep reinventing the wheel?
Yeah, because
if somebody asks me questions, I'll link them to that video.
But some people, like for me, there's a few YouTube videos that I can't stand how they did the video, and then there's some people that are great. So having multiple versions of the same thing can be helpful, because someone might like your version better than that 5-year-old one, or maybe they were looking for a certain thing and they didn't present it as well.
So I'm reading somewhat of chat, and also when you're talking about, like the raid strats for WoW, if you want to learn how to do a raid boss, there's 50,000 people making videos. Mm-hmm. There's 62,000 people making cheat sheets. There's dudes drawing stuff in MS Paint. Every raid tier in WoW, and I just recently, BFA is the first expansion I've actually started sharing this with my raid team, because I've always been so cautious about what I create, and I don't want everyone to see it. Like, I was that kid in high school and middle school who was really good with art and really good at drawing stuff, but never actually let anybody see what they drew. And now I couldn't pick up a pencil and draw a stick figure without it looking not like a stick figure. Like, it would look like a line and maybe a circle showed up. And just because I don't use that talent, but I straight up for this raid tier, I have a 80-page document in Google Drive that breaks down every boss fight, has every spell. It has every spell, what it does, has the icons, the icon numbers. It's just like Rain Man fell into a document.
Can I borrow that?
But legitimately, I'm so terrified of letting anybody use it that my guild is a 900-person guild on Zul'jin, and we have 3 active raid teams, and my team is the only one with access to the document, because I'm too terrified to even let the rest of my guild see what I do. And the video may not work for you, but the Wowhead text guide might be the perfect thing for your learning. Or for me, I read the text guide, I know exactly what to do on the boss fight, and then I just go watch videos of people killing this stuff, and I look at what the spells are, and I match them up to timers on their screens, and I go, okay, I know how to do this fight.
I miss, because I haven't seen it for a while, but the 5-minute boss guides.
Yeah.
I loved those because it was very simple. It put little icons of your DPS, healer, tank, where you should be standing on the place, and they give you a brief glimpse of what the attack looks like.
Yeah. So this is where we call out Line of Sight Gaming, LOS Gaming on Twitter. Bros, you guys have been gone for 5 years. People still want your stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were amazing. And I think it was last expansion they didn't have any, and I was looking for them and where is it? I need this. Where is it? I know there's other guides, but they're not clear or good, and I'm still confused. So I come to raid. It's I watched the video. Did anything sink in? No. Okay, trial and error.
Well, that's even for me too. So I'm a tank. they don't usually show what tanks are supposed to do during boss fights. There used to be Tank Spot. You know, Josh, aka Josh Allen, aka Lore from Blizzard, used to be Tank Spot. He used to be the weekly Marmot. That's the dude that taught me how to tank. Like, I've been tanking ever since he was creating tank guides on Tank Spot on the YouTube channel. It's where I got into everything that I enjoy doing.
I'm hearing something from the 2V and from chat that even though there's a lot of the stuff out there, it is kind of the personalities. Like, I know that I would watch somebody that I know, like I'd watch you, Emma, I'd watch you, Epic. I would watch that personality, and I'm almost hearing that either Epic, maybe there is a calling for you to do like a Week Horrors podcast or a guide or something, or to turn that raid strat into something. Would that bring you passion?
It's debatable because like Week Horrors are great because it's a visual thing. It's a visual, but people don't understand that Week Horrors also have sound cues. So you can actually add a sound effect to it. So like when I'm supposed to taunt, it's literally my voice going taunt. It literally is me saying taunt every time I'm supposed to taunt because I forget. I'm a raid leader. I'm watching everything else going on. I'm trying to min-max everything. I enjoy doing the stuff for myself. I don't know if it'd be useful for anybody else, but it's also that thing we talked about a little while ago called time.
Yes.
I'm not good with video. So yeah, I can make a podcast, but if I'm talking about weak auras, is it really going to show you how to make a weak aura? Like I can talk all about cooking a pizza, visually trying to build that picture in your head. You've all seen pizzas before, but it's not going to be the same.
No, like dough consistencies.
Yeah.
Trying to explain it that it should be stretchy, not too dry, but not too wet, and it has to raise.
If I can show you that on a video,
yeah,
then you understand it. But if I'm trying to describe that to you, like, and I'm good with my words, and I'm an adult, and I know how to like. But I'm not going to describe because, like, in my raid team, do I describe stuff the same way I would like if I was talking to somebody that had never done this before? It's always that division of like, I would love to do everything. Like, there's so much stuff in this world that I would love to do. It's just there's two things holding me back every time from accomplishing anything in life, and it's time and money. Mainly because money helps you get that time, because if you can pay somebody else to do a portion of it, like if I could pay a video editor to edit the video for me, I'd be all over it.
That explains why I think Nixium and Taliesin have moved to video editors, because they realized that they could even do even more of what they love if they have somebody else doing the video editing.
Well, okay, let's talk you, Mr. Editor. How long does it take you to edit one version of a 1 hour FrazlCast?
If we go 1 hour.
Yep, just one solid 60 minutes. 60 minutes, no more, no less.
I would say it probably takes me about 4 to 5 to 6 hours, depending on how many edits, how many different things. If I get in a zone, it can be less. If I'm not enjoying the topic, or if I'm letting my imposter syndrome get to me that episode wasn't good, it can take me longer because I keep putting it off. But it does take me about 6 to 8 hours per episode.
So what could you accomplish in life with that extra 6 to 8 hours?
I could do more streaming. Yeah. I could work on videos.
You know, that's what I'm just, you could sleep. You could go to the gym more. You could go for longer walks. You could add 15 minutes every day to your walk. And you could go for, instead of a 30-minute walk, now you're going for 45 minutes and you're hitting new milestones. Like there's so much in life.
He walks a lot in the morning.
Well,
I wake up and he's already beat my thing.
So think about it. Like if you hire an editor, now I'm not saying I don't want to take on your show. If you edit your show, you want it a certain way. You want it built a certain way. You have dropped in a certain way. Me and you have this podcast talk all the time. Like in Discord, we're always talking about this stuff like every couple of days. And there's always new things. Like I'm always trying to change up my style of how I edit. And as long as I get good, pure sound. I taught you tricks on how to speed up your editing process, which saved a ton of time.
Oh, yes.
A 60-minute podcast, I can knock out in 30 minutes. Every mouth click, everything removed in 30 minutes and less.
Nice.
Wow.
But it's not my podcast.
Sure.
What did we do with Frozen Nerds? I made the decision where if we just record clean enough, we're not going to edit. Now, if there's a coughing fit or if something happens in the middle, we remove it. No one even knows it happened. But there's going to be ums. There's going to be weird sounds occasionally because I'm not going through with a fine-tooth comb anymore. Why? because it would take me 6 hours to do like it was before, because I nitpick every little thing and I'm restructuring stuff. I'm re-recording something. I'm nitpicking it too much, because that's the problem as a content creator. So Taliesin's, they're outsourcing their video editing. That's because they want to take that 6 hours, well, especially with the child on the way, like you got stuff to do. But you want to take that extra 3 hours you spent just on the video editing to put it towards either another video that week or towards something else that needs to be done in life. So it's all about allocating. Like, we're given 24 hours in every day, and it depends on how we spend it.
Yeah.
Like, if you've taken your entire Saturday just to edit your podcast, that's an entire day where you did one task. And that's a lot of time, but it's something you're passionate about. So it's something you're going to do. It's something you love. It's why you stream multiple times a week. It's why you're on multiple podcasts and why you're help editing other people's podcasts. It's those things where it's like you enjoy what you do. It's the same thing with me. I sometimes enjoy editing podcasts. It also gives me a sense of accomplishment because I'm fast at it. I can get more done. I can edit 60 to 80 podcasts in a week. Why? Because like today, I edited 17 podcasts today.
Yikes!
And that's because a bunch of them were like 5-minute, 10-minute podcasts.
Okay.
And it doesn't take me long when you're listening to them at 60% speed to get burned through them all really fast. And all of them are accepted by clients and they're all happy and they're amazed on how fast I got it done and whatever. But to me, it's like you can burn through this stuff because you do it all the time. So if you want me to make a video on YouTube, I'm going to have to pay an editor. Well, in order to pay an editor, I have to have money. Now I'm working an extra 6 hours a week for myself just so I can afford an editor to do the work that would have taken me 6 hours. So why not just do it myself? So it's this never ending like pile of goop that you just have to slowly go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you could be like Frazley in the very first few episodes of his podcast, like, oh, I'll never edit. It's fine. I'll just let it go. Everything.
3 hours.
Yeah, I remember those days.
I do too.
Editing.
And so does Lucas. Lucas has been in stream chat and talked about how he remembers the early days of FrazlCast. Yeah. So all of you have made great points, and we could talk. I think we could talk for hours on this, but I'm the one who's be editing this. So I think I'm going to move this to trivia. And now I got a little surprise, and I'm going to thank Delroy, even though he doesn't want to take credit for it. I'm going to give him credit for it. So I told you, Epic, it was going to be about WoW Trivia Pursuit. Well, see this eye on my head? This Zoth eye? I'm a little devilish sometimes.
I was wondering, you've been excited about this trivia a little bit too much.
Okay, I know nothing about this, so I'm completely in the dark.
Okay, so Epic, you love beards.
Beards? Yeah, I have one.
So I found some trivia from funtrivia.com. It's all about beards. I'll have a link in the show notes if people want to go find this.
So I'm totally going to lose because I know nothing about beards.
Epic, if you can beat Emma, I will give you anything in the Gnome.live merch store. I gotta be shameless. I gotta
yeah,
I gotta have you repping the gnome out in public. But if Emma wins, I will still send you something. It's a Be Awesome or Be Awesome mug. So that way, at least when you're drinking coffee in the morning, you can be like, okay, next time I'm on Frazley's show with Emma, I'm gonna be on top of my game with trivia.
Well, it's funny that you say coffee mug, because my coffee mug in front of me right now, I have two of them. One says Epic, #Epic. The other one looks like when I'm drinking from it, it looks like I have a beard.
But you have a beard.
It's a beard coffee cup. So when you put it up to your face, it looks like you have a beard.
Oh, nice. And is that available on the Epic merch?
It is not. It's available at your local Walmart.
Okay.
$5.
So what is the study of beards known as? Is it Firstology, peculiar, ogonology, or unusual?
I'm going to say the second one.
Not peculiar.
And I'm going to risk it to get the biscuit, and I'm going with C, the third one.
Ogonology? Correct.
It's always C.
Shockingly enough, I read an article about this not recently, but on Beard Brand's website. So that's what I was like, what do they call it? It's weird.
So, according to Fun Trivia, there are people who study beards professionally. The study encompasses a broad field, and many of these pogo-nologists find employment with cosmetic firms and firms that make shaving equipment. So, question 2. The rate at which a beard grows is genetic, but it is also linked to what other division of human male physiology? The rate of his heartbeat, the length of his nose, the size of his wisdom teeth, the rate of his sexual activity.
I'm going with D. It has to be D.
Emma, you are correct.
Yay!
Okay, so the answer is...
Well, I was going to say it's testosterone, which is
Yes.
D.
Yes, correct. According to testosterone. And they said recently this was shown to be the case by a physicist who carried out a series of several sojourns alone on an isolated island. Over each time period, his rate of beard growth grew less and less the longer he spent on the island. However, each time the day arrived for him to be removed from this self isolation, his beard growth dramatically resumed again, especially on his first couple of days back in human society when he resumed conjugal activities.
So what's funny is people always ask me, they're like, oh, how did you grow such a big beard? And I'm like, it's genetics and testosterone. And they're like, but like, can I put like something on my face to make it grow bigger? I was like, unless if it's genetics or testosterone, no. Like, that's the only way to grow a beard. Like, the first step to growing a beard, though, is to just not shave. Like, you can't have one unless if you just stop shaving your face.
And I like what Tellarage said. They said, can you imagine telling your blind date that you study beards for a living, then to stop them from laughing, you say, no, it's a real thing. It's called pogoology.
I'm going to put that in my on my resume on LinkedIn. Pogoologist.
So ancient Egyptians often wore false beards as a sign of leadership. This included designing false beards for men, women, and what other creatures?
Cat?
Yeah, cats.
No, not cats, but that's one of the answers. The other 2 answers are cows and horses. So crocodiles, cows, and horses. And I've already
Cows.
eliminated.
No, because there is no cows. Yeah, there is. There's cows. It's totally cows.
I'm just going to throw horses just to be different.
Well, Emma, you are correct. Cows.
Yay!
There is a link between this and religious belief. The worship of cows has played a major part in many ancient cultures.
That's what I was thinking. It's like they do worship cows. What are they talking? They
Yeah.
worship all animals.
Well, we're both like cats. Like, we know this cats.
I mean, I could see cats being it because they loved cats.
Yeah.
Ancient Persians and Mesopotamians placed great value on beards. Not only did they spend a great deal of time oiling, plating, or decorating them, what other style did they incorporate into them? Did they do crew cuts, ringlets, afros, or perms?
Ringlets?
I'm going to say perms.
Emma, you are correct. They did ringlets.
I'm sorry, Epic.
No, you're good. I was thinking perms because perms was always like a status symbol.
For me, I was thinking of like the movies that presented royalty, and they kind of have like these little curls on the end, like the middle is straight, but there's like these little curls around the end. And a perm is like everything's kind of wavy.
Yeah.
And I love what Alessandro said. Cats would never wear a beard more than 2 seconds. And then Tellarage said the cats in 60s Batman totally had some beard work done. Question 5. Such was the veneration in which beards were held that many men breaking the law had their beards cut off as punishment. For which sin in particular was this the case? Theft, laziness, sacrilege, or adultery?
Adultery.
That is correct.
I'm sorry, Epic. I'll shut up now.
No, you're fine.
Oh no.
I'm not supposed to know this beard knowledge. I don't have a beard.
In ancient Greece, only portions of beard were removed as punishment. What was the only socially acceptable reason that a beard could be fully removed?
For a death funeral.
Yes! As a sign of mourning. Wow. Emma, do you secretly have a beard? And you just...
Can she share her screen? I think she has the trivia pulled up already.
No, I have some people who are religious and all that, and the only time they shave, and it's like they shave their eyebrows, their head, like all the hair from head to toe is just shaved completely off, and it's for mourning.
Yeah.
And Twitch chat can clearly see Emma does not have a beard.
Let me fix this.
And Emma now just created a beard on Twitch.
She's prepared.
Yes. So maybe you'd have a beard and you just shave it before you come on camera. And could that be why for a long time you were not on camera on FrazlCast?
Maybe I just didn't feel like shaving that day.
Okay, that explains a lot.
That was me 8 years ago when I decided to stop shaving.
So I think this is a nice long.
Wow, you've got a nice long beard, Emma. That's
no.
incredible.
Nice, healthy looking too.
Yeah. Nice conditioner. Wow. I think Epic needs to take some of your stuff. I mean, Epic, you have a nice beard. I did not touch it at BlizzCon, Epic. I respected you and did not touch your beard.
This time.
This time, yes. Next time I see you, maybe I might touch the beard.
I'm coming to you.
During Alexander the Great's time, he introduced smooth shaven face and insisted his own and that of his army be kept in this condition. Why was this? To prevent enemies grabbing it in battle? It was easier to eat a hasty meal without a beard? Or neatness of appearance? So they didn't get caught in their swords.
I'm going to say neatness and appearance.
No, sorry. Yeah, Alessandra said lice.
I normally would have said that, but that wasn't one of the options. I would say not get caught in their swords.
Wrong!
Oh.
The first one then?
Correct!
Makes sense. There's a lot of, cat fights where they just try to grab the hair. That's actually how I won with my sister. It's,
I just want to know that if you're in a fight like that, why you're letting them get close enough to grab your facial hair.
You lost your sword.
That is true.
You got a sword. Why are they getting that close? Like mine's a long beard. I can say 12, 14-inch beard. Like they could easily grab it, but they ain't getting that close.
What if you didn't know they were behind you and they just grab it?
Noogie!
They're going to decapitate me and it's over when down fighting.
Yeah.
In Roman days, shaving rather than beards was the fashion. What did shaving represent? Enlistment into the army? Transition from boyhood to manhood? The first time one cast a vote? Or to mark a contract of marriage?
Marriage?
Enlistment.
Wrong on both.
Boyhood to manhood, then?
Yeah.
Correct, Emma. Next question. Many of the Celtic and Germanic tribal men disliked beards, and like the Beatles at their worst, preferred long mustaches and long hair instead. A young man was not allowed to shave until he had achieved what deed? The options are kissed his first woman, killed his first enemy, married, or eaten the liver of a horse.
Eating the liver of a horse.
I would say kill his first enemy.
Emma's correct!
Yay for killing!
And Alessandro got that one too. And the final one. By the 17th century in Russia, beards were frowned upon by Peter the Great. He ordered all men to shave them off or face what consequence? Have one's nose removed? Lose one's estates? Face execution or pay tax on them?
I say taxes because, hey, taxes are great.
Emma, I am surprised. You have one. I'm sorry, Epic. I guess you'll be getting another coffee mug.
Well, see, the problem is you didn't tell us that it was going to be beard history. Let's do some modern beard history and beard knowledge. This is like going back into school and they're teaching you about everything that happened 600 years before you were born. And
you're gonna really hate me. I dropped out of for us it was socials, but that's their history class. I never taken it.
Yeah, when it comes to history stuff, I have no clue about anything. I couldn't tell you the American presidents in order if I tried. I couldn't even possibly tell you the last 5. I don't know.
I can't tell you anything about the Canadian politics or who our
Canada has politics?
Yeah. We have Trudeau right now. That's all I know.
That's all I know.
Yeah. We got Trudeau, and we have issues with a pipeline.
I just thought that Canadians all said sorry and then ate
Yeah.
bacon.
No, we had poutine.
Oh, poutine. Okay, that's what you do to make up in political battles. Got it.
Yeah, we have poutine eat-offs, and either whoever makes the best poutine or how much poutine can you actually eat.
That's
I'm I'm there.
So, I think I'd prefer that over our voting system. Anyway, thank you both for joining me on FrazlCast. Where can we find you on the interwebs? We'll start with Epic.
You can find me on the interwebs over at Epicinsanity.com. It's pretty much everywhere you can find me. The best place to reach out to me is on Twitter. That will take you to all those other locations where you can find me. I'm horrible at checking my DMs. I'm horrible at checking Discord messages, but I'm really, really good at ignoring everything that comes through for communication. But yes, you can find me all over the place. I'm also one of the hosts of the Frozen Nerdz podcast. You can find that on anywhere podcasts can be found. I almost said anywhere besides iTunes because it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, anyway.
And Emma, where can we find you?
You can find me at Twitter, lady_Emma. You can find me live last Thursday of every month on FrazzleCast, or you can hear me on the following Monday. So first Monday of the month, usually, of the recording of FrazzleCast, where I like to feed Frazley things like cookies. Have more cookies.
I love those cookies.
So, yeah. And also, don't forget to eat Blaylock cookies, because they're the best.
I guess I should say that on Twitter, I'm epic_insanity, since I still can't get my actual name on Twitter.
Oh.
Why can't you?
Because somebody's squatting on the account and has been for 14 years.
And have they posted anything?
Nope. Twitter won't give it to me.
You can usually still argue it, because I've seen people do it.
I do every year. They require that I have to legally change my actual name to Epicinsanity.
Really?
Why don't you? That'd be good branding.
I've wondered if I can change it like in a random state like Montana, and just in Montana I'm known as Epicinsanity, but everywhere else I'm not, just to see if I can get it to work.
I was very lucky that I got mine, because I got mine as soon as I found out about Twitter, and I quickly put it in, lady_Emma. Yes, got it, mine. And then I didn't use Twitter for 3-4 years.
Well, everybody, when you're in Montana, look for Epicinsanity.
It's true.
Activating customized orphan transporter.
This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. Take it away, Frazzlepants.
Thank you, Scruffy. Well, I am back at my home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Gnomergon.
I'm a gnome.
I was honored to be on Rolling Restart episode 82 with Jen of Royally Great Podcast. I had a great time talking with him and Ro. We talked about chicken and waffles, as well as a discussion on a variety of topics, ranging from the impact of BOE gear in the race to World First, to Shadowland speculation, and more. Thank you, Ro, for having me on this. A shout out to Rig, who said thanks for getting Jenny on episode 147. They said that it's awesome to know the work she does for breast cancer patients. Rig's mom is going through it at the moment, so the Rig found it an interesting topic close to their heart. Shout out to Cap, who said awesome episode. They said Jenny is such a cool person to watch on Twitch, and I agree. I hopped into Twitch earlier this week, and it was cool just seeing Jenny talking with her community, having a good time. That is what I think makes a great Twitch streamer. Shout out to Kara, who said that 147 was such a great episode. And thank you, Kara, for listening. I hope you all know I really, really do appreciate you listening to me. If it's in this podcast or on the streams. And speaking of the streams, I have to transition from there. I have added some new Frazzle Dazzle rewards. So I've added Frazzle Dabble, emote only chat for 1 minute, and Hydrate Fraz. Point values for these, like the other ones, will be modified over time as I see how the community uses these. Thank you again for watching, for taking part in these rewards. It's fun giving you things to change how I stream. And every episode, in addition to thanking those who give me encouragement throughout the week, I like to thank people who have given back to the show financially. Thank you to my Twitch subs out there. Thank you to Burkhart, Cap, Crunk, Harlow, Jendon, Carinsa, Lucas of Cardiac Valley, Michael of the Genome Project, and Two Nerds Maybe More, Nihar, Odikins, Pete of Project Phoenix Productions and Stories on Azeroth, Razarus, Reg of Charactercraft, Scissorlord, Telleroyd, Felicia, and Zortz the Goblin. And, this is a first, and I love this. Lucas of Cardiac Valley Podcast bought a pretty awesome energy mug. Woo! Thank you, Lucas. And thank you to Amanda of Geek Caring, Cap, Corinza, Pete of Project Phoenix Productions and Stories on Azeroth, and Telleroyd for the bits. And Twitch has added a really cool thing. When you get certain bit badges, you will now get Twitch bit emotes. For 1,000, you get Frazzlepog. For 5,000, you get Frazzleheart. And for 10,000, you get Frazzlestop. These are permanent once you have donated enough bits for each of those badges. If you want to support the show financially, like the people I just talked about, you can go to support.gnomepodcast.com. If you have Twitch Prime through Amazon Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime subscription on my channel and get access to awesome emotes and ad-free viewing. All of your support goes up and supports this labor of love. Thank you so much. I am honored that slowly, this empire, as Ro and different people have said, it is slowly building. It's all because of you. Well, I am Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. There you can catch past episodes and find out many of the places where you can subscribe to this show, so that way the Gnome Train comes to you every single week. Well, until next week, be awesome.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard Games, and they are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. This show is for the community, and it contains contributions from the community. The Gnome Train Intro is by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth. The opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock. The Gnome Roar is by Jen of Morally Grey Podcast, and the Frazzlepants bumper at the end is by the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional and Viral Voice Arts.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.
It's been fun. Farewell!